Guys, just wanted to make a quick video here, as I told you yesterday I would. So, just doing a little trade recap of the three different scalps I called out last night, July 28th, on XSP, which would be after hours trading for SPY, basically. So, let's get right into it. As you guys can see, my charts here. Basically, I wanted to make this video because it's one of the most requested videos. First off, is how I do my scalping, how I do trend lines, things like that. I always tell people, it's hard to explain. I can't just type out like, how to show you how to do trend lines and how I do scalps. Especially when I'm live trading, things can move very quick. I can scalp literally maybe like $20 to $30 each time, like 20-30%, which can only take a minute or two. So that's why it's very important to make sure you join the live chats whenever you can. Those are the best place to get, as many trades as possible, all the scalps and stuff. Just on Monday, there was like 7 to 10 different scalps for 100% that I called out within like 30 minutes or something. People, it's crazy. But anyway, so let's get into it. Um, just as easy as drawing lines, making money. That's how simple trading can be. Literally just drawing lines. I love to show people all about trend lines. So this is basically it. We're always going to start on the higher time frames to draw our trend lines. Higher time frames have the most quality, tell you the most trends. Yeah. Obviously, things have been more complete since yesterday, so we have more chart to go off of, but it doesn't really matter. So anyways, where we start. I guess to start would be to tell you that a trend line definitely needs at least 2 to 3 points to be a good trend line to begin with. So right off the bat, a higher time frame. I like to use the wicks just so that you make sure you have the absolute furthest distance. If we were to use the candles, like right here, I'll show you. If we were to just use the candle bodies, it wouldn't give us the exact space right there. That can matter a whole lot, telling you where it's going to bounce and whatnot. So I'm just going to erase that. But anyway, so without trying to make this take too long. So yeah, so this is the bottom of the wedge right here. I don't draw the top sometimes because I don't need to visually. Like I don't really need to see what's going on, but just to give you guys an idea of like how it should look if you're drawing all the trend lines. So yeah, it basically look like a wedge like this pretty much. So yeah, as you can see, we got our wedge there. And then yeah, we got more than 3 taps there. Official trend line keeps going there. So anyways, so this is how I based pretty much where we're going off of. We got our range. And then, of course, I drew smaller trend lines here to help guide the smaller, more recent ranges. And yeah, I mean, this isn't even the example I wanted to bring up, but this is another one right here. Just having these ranges right here would have told you everything. We hit the top of the range, we rejected. So naturally, there's, more than a good chance we're going to go right back down. And then from there, we're in the little smaller range, as you can see right here. So of course, when we break through that, then what's our next step? We just take it level by level. So then from there, we have the next trend line, which would be that right there. And then of course the bottom, which we eventually hit. So anyways, let's get into the example I want to get into. Last night, we're going to take it down. Oh crap. I didn't mean to move that. Let's see. There we go. All right. And should be locking these. Yeah, just give me 1 second here and block these, and then we're going to get into the trades from last night. All right, bring it back down, 5-minute time frame. So now you have a sense of what these trend lines are and where they come from, because when you're looking at the 5-minute, it gets a little confusing. So, like I said, this is our wedge that you saw on the 4-hour. So this is the top, this is the bottom, that's our wedge. So again, for me, very simple. What I love to do is just draw trend lines on the 5-minute time frame. My favorite setup lately has been going downside, especially looking for a pullback to VWAP, or if we're already under VWAP, I like using the VWAP bands and the EMAs and whatnot. So that's why I always use VWAP bands. As you can tell right here, VWAP bands. See, those 3 lines right there. It gives us a lot more range, and it gives us more targets and more levels than just having a VWAP too. You have that whole range of those 3 lines there. So that's why I love that. A lot of people think it's like an amateur thing, but I think it's very overlooked, slept on. So anyways, again, down into the smaller time frame. Now from here, I just did the same thing that I did in the 4-hour, just with this smaller time frame. Drew myself a little wedge here. And then I already had the top here. So now I already know I'm looking for puts because we already rejected, then we rejected again. So, well, that came after. So anyway, I already know we're looking for puts because we rejected down. And naturally, it's just the way we're going. So just take it step by step. Real easy. I already had that line drawn. And then again, I'll draw another one, right? So of course this is kind of hard to tell because after we've had so much data, all the EMAs don't line up correctly. So it doesn't look the same as when it did the night of. So just kind of bear with me. But naturally you'd be able to see like the EMA up here, the VWAP bands would be right around down here and whatnot. So I just draw this right here. And I do remember at the time, this was a VWAP band right here. I remember that specifically because that was getting in for the first scalp was going to be to the VWAP band. It was the very first target. And then, yeah, that's literally just all I did. So just as simple as that. Just drawing trend lines, mark these lines. And this is after hours trading, of course, which if you don't know by now, you can do after hours trading for SPY and IWM. You just can't trade SPY or IWM specifically. You have to trade different tickers. So like for SPY, you would trade SPX or XSP. SPX, obviously everyone knows that. It's a bigger version of SPY, very expensive, moves quickly. XSP is just 1/10 of SPX. So basically the same thing, just a lot cheaper and better. So that's why we stick with XSP overnight, as you'll see in a second when I show you the comms. And then, yeah, so I call it XSP. And then from here, again, so we just draw a trend line. This wouldn't have been here by then anyway, so let's just pretend that's not there. I can just erase that anyway. Draw it later, right? Actually, it would have been there afterwards. So anyways, yeah, so anyways, let's get into it. So that's the first one right there. So that is military time right there. So that's about 8:50. I think the first one I called out was 9:05. Okay, so 9:05, 742 puts, 175, right up to 1. And this was what, 2 minutes later? 9:07, 9:09, went right up to 190. 1 minute later, 210. Yeah, and there's your quick scalp right there. Like I said, we could go another dollar, but no need to get greedy. You know, it's after night hours trading, slow and everything. There's no reason to get too greedy. Nice, easy $50, $60 right there for what, 8 minutes of work within the time. So that's not bad. And then there's me being funny, of course. But so let's map that out. 907. Here we go. 907 would be 2107. So there it is, 2105. So as you can see, we're coming down. Rejected this trend line. We're inside the range again. We've had multiple closes inside the range, so I know there's at least over like an 80% chance of going back down. And then from there, we got under the 9 EMA, which at that time, again, I think was there was a VWAP band down here, so we're already under the 9, going down towards VWAP. Then we had that, and then this is right about where I started typing it out, getting in. And then when I saw this rejection again, I was like, yep, here we go. We're going to go down. And that's how I got to catch it perfectly. It's perfect timing. So it only took us till about 9:15 right there. And then look, I called that scalp perfectly too, because we had another couple minutes, maybe like 2 minutes of going down, but went right back up there. But of course, it went back down again, and then I'll bring you to the next trade that I called out. So that was a quick little one right there. And that's all you need, man. That's it. After hours, you can't ask for much more, especially after hours of low volume, like $60 within 8 minutes. Like that's not bad, man. Some people do a lot worse than that during the day session. So one thing I like about the night session is things move a lot slower too, so you can tell when to get in and out. Like if you're getting reversed on or if it doesn't work out, you have plenty of time to get in and out. Oh yeah, those already hit 300 by 10. Yeah, an hour later. Yeah, that's right. I told them to take profit too early. Yeah, because as you can see, right, we went back up. I already told him to take profit. We scout, and then I think I had to walk away or something. I think that's why I didn't catch this trade right there, because that was beautiful right there. And then right back down to the trend line. Yeah, I would have caught that perfectly. I must have walked away or something. And then from there, now we get to the next one, which I believe is right on this break. So again, just drawing lines. As you can see, it's my favorite thing to do. Just draw lines on the underside. Once we get a little bit of a pitch that could resemble anything of a lowercase h, that's what I go for. So this was about what? That's 10:55 or so. This was about 10:30. Oh, I think I did catch the downside. Okay, 10:30. Put a tight stop on it. Oh yeah, this is when they got stopped out real quick, even after we went up. This one actually wasn't the best scalp, I think. 1030. So we got. Oh, right. This is calls. Sorry, right. So this is calls. I caught the upside. Sorry about that. Right. So yeah. So we were just getting the bounce up here, and there was VWAP, I believe. I think I maybe wrote that. No. But anyways, I believe there was VWAP. I believe that's what I was going for. It was like right about here, so up to that line. And we basically hit it pretty much. Just didn't go too fast. They had gotten stopped. I told them to put a tight stop, which means, no more than like $5-10 or whatever. We hit 210, so I knew people may have gotten stopped out, so I made sure to tell them to re-enter. We hit 225 right away, which is only $10, whatever. Then we went down to 210. So I told them to make sure to buy, if you got 210, whatever, and then bang, right back up to 225. We caught that a little bit. And then he probably got stopped out if he didn't take the profit. So and they went right back up. But anyways, yeah, this is where we caught the downside, 1150. All right, so 1150, 2350. All right, yeah. So this was after we already made the lowercase h. I took a little while to wait just to be sure. So I waited till we broke this trend line, and we had a confirmation candle underneath it, and we were going for the lowercase h. So that's why I didn't enter right here, is because if you know about lowercase h's, you know that sometimes they can bounce after they hit the low of day, which it didn't this time, but sometimes it can. So that's why I waited, and I waited. Once I saw it broke, I was like, oh crap, we already missed a good scalp anyway, but I knew a lowercase h is just a precursor to more downside. So once we got a tiniest little bounce, I hit the puts right here. Excuse me, and then we entered in. And let's see how that worked out. That worked out pretty good, yeah. So this could get ugly, make some big moves, bang, right up from 220, right to 235, big drop, right to 245, yep, and then I told him to scalp right at 250. Yep. So it might be best to run overnight, but don't be scared to take profits and make sure to guide and tell everybody my thoughts and what's going on. Perfect trim right there. And then 20 minutes later, we hit 265. That's how quick the MU puts go. This was today. But yeah, so that was it. That was literally 3 little scalps right there from, 8 to 10 o'clock or whatever to 12. It's, they're not glorious 1,000%ers or anything, but for overnight trading, that's more than enough. People don't even know that you can trade overnight. So, but anyways, the big point is I just wanted to show you guys my main bread and butter. This is like my main bread and butter here. As you can see, is you'll always see these little trend lines here. That's what I love to do. I love to go for the downside, down to VWAP or below VWAP, and just catch this little break on the 5 minutes each time. And then having the bigger time frames obviously helps, having the bigger wedges like these guys and whatnot. So I have more direction to go off of. And then look, again, here's another example, right, of just drawing lines and making money. Today was FOMC, so obviously you probably stay away from FOMC. But as you can see, we just drew trend lines and it broke. So you could have just caught this downside right there. Actually, there might be another trend line I missed right here. Let's see this guy right here. Just noticed this. Well, it's kind of possible. It doesn't mean it's right. Yeah, it's only two points too, so it's not the greatest, but that could work. A lot of times I'll put extra trend lines just to be safe because I mean, nothing that can harm you if you take profits a little too early, whatever. I always say, you can't lose when you're taking profits, and there's nothing wrong with taking profits early, so nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that would just give us a little bit of that. And it's funny how it always works out too. They usually play out when you can see. But yeah, so SPY's about to get started right here now. About to get into overnight trading, so I'm gonna end the video here. And yeah, catch me in the Discord on overnight trading. Hope that helps you guys. As always, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or anything like that. Feel free to leave some feedback and comments. And if you want to learn how to trade like this, if you want to learn everything about trend lines, how to scalp, how to build a structured system, how to use my comp in and out method, which is my own custom trade management system, everything like that is in the Trader's Toolkit. That's the whole reason that I put it out. So make sure to take advantage of the Trader's Toolkit. It's literally everything that I wish I had when I started trading. It's the most condensed version possible of everything that you need to get started. And it even has a full journal app too. So just the journal alone, if you pay for like TradeZilla or anything like that, just the one-time cost of the whole toolkit is more than you're paying for your trading journal. And you get to keep the entire trading journal. It's a full app, customized with AI capability as well too. So it's got risk to reward calculator, full journal app, and it's got all my cheat sheets, all my setups, the orb setup, the cop in, cop out method. It teaches you price action, volume, terminology, scalping, trend lines, fibs, FTGs, everything. Literally everything you need. So yeah, make sure you guys check that out. All the links are in the description, in the bio, or on my Discord. Hope that helps. Have a good night.